Okay. You guys ready?
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Drum Brigade.
Yes. Gentlemen, we are so honored. We're just so happy. Hanging out with the Drum Brigade today for a few minutes. We got Ari Hoenig on the line. I don't even need to give man, he's done this, he's done that. He's just one of the dopest drummers in the world. He's here. Please welcome Ari Hoenig on the show.
Hey.
Yes. Ari, man, thank you so much for coming on, man. We're so happy.
My pleasure. Yeah, no problem. My pleasure.
Cool. I actually met you maybe like a year, maybe 2 years ago. I went to Smalls, watched you play. I admit I fanboyed a little bit. I was like, hey man, can I just get a picture? And I didn't want to bother you. And I almost asked you for an interview right there, but I was like, he just got done with his set. And so let me just say hello and get a picture. And then I was on vacation out there visiting some family. So, cool. But yeah, it was amazing, man. Amazing show. We always love watching you play, and we've been watching videos, and it's really cool. So
thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
How's this quarantine thing treating you now? Are you focusing on teaching or like clinics?
Yeah.
Or?
So you see here, I'm in my studio. It's my
Nice.
piano. I got a couple of drum sets.
Oh yeah, that's
here.
one we see on YouTube all the time.
Oh right. And then a bass even.
Cool.
I was playing a little ukulele today.
Nice.
So this is when I'm working, this is great, to have this. And then here it's like you got a little outside view of infestation land.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pure New York right there.
Yeah, that's it. Well, you don't see anybody out there,
No.
But I get a little light and stuff, and it's I would say that it's probably treating me maybe a little bit better than average.
Yeah.
But it's a little rough too.
How are you working right now? Are you doing a lot more teaching or?
Yeah, so I'm doing a lot of Patreon, which
Okay.
is kind of the thing that I'm doing a lot, which is great because it's basically like a little online drum club, drum hang, where I post videos and comments and questions, and then I do like once a week. I've started, but I'm gonna start regularly doing a once a week kind of like group classes, group lessons.
Nice.
But for Patreon members, and also probably non as well. And then I just regular teaching online. I taught 3 lessons today, so
Cool.
that's actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
As far as like just a regular work day. So it's kind of getting it's getting not back to normal, but at least like my work is not like suffering as much as it would be. But obviously just like everybody, no tours and
Right.
and all that. But I am able to, I'm doing some composing, and I just bought a microphone. So maybe I'm going to start to, because I'm not one of these like, drum studio, I don't really do tracking or anything in my, this is just live stuff. But I got a mic, so I'll probably do some what do they call it? Like some projects with people.
That's cool. Yeah, it's cool. I like that you're able to stay active too, and you kind of had that on lockdown before this all hit us. But I think it's cool. You're one step ahead, and the world still gets to hear you do what you do. That's great, and learn from you. That's cool too.
Yeah, a lot of the education stuff. It's good. I really enjoy it actually, and I would definitely always recommend Patreon to anybody that's interested in kind of expanding their musical knowledge and exploring a little bit.
Cool. All right. Before we get on listener questions, you guys got anything you wanna ask?
I had a question.
Yeah.
I was curious on. I saw a video of you playing Actual Proof.
Oh.
And
okay.
My question was like, how do you get into like I don't know, like internalizing and analyzing a form like that that's not like so musically intuitive, so that when you play, you can play freely and openly?
Man, I'll tell you what. When I played that version that was on YouTube, like I didn't really know that song. I think that was, he just called that, and I was like, oh, I mean, I had listened to the record before, but I never played it before. That was the first time I'd played it, and so I really didn't know it. It's not actually that hard of a song. You have to figure out the form of the song. You got to count. You got to count through the form. You got to figure out, because the thing is, it's just a repeated form, just like most jazz works that way, when they're, it's like a melody and then it goes over a form, and then there's improvisation over the same form, right? So you got to know how long each section is. So definitely counting is in there, understanding and being able to hear all the hits, which they're not that many, but there are a few, and they come around, again and again. So I think the main thing is just pay attention, pay attention and count. And you may have to put in a little time when you're not playing. Because like when you're playing, you may start thinking about other things that you may want to learn the song before you see that. Unfortunately for me, I didn't really do that. And, I mean, I went back and I heard it. It's like, I'm not, that's why I'm not like playing otherwise I'd probably be playing the same beat, similar beat than like Mike Clark was playing, or whoever's on there, but which is amazing, but like I didn't really get the opportunity to learn the song in that type of way,
Sure.
But anyway, pay attention, count, understand the form, know the form of the song, be able to sing the melody of the song.
Okay, I guess
singing the melody is big.
I mean, that's just like a very straight approach to it. I just wondered if people think about other things like, I don't know, to take liberties, and then in the situation, if you get lost too, you know what I mean? Like, how do you recover from that? Like,
it's the same way that you recover in a conversation. So like, what if you're in a conversation and you forget what you're saying? Like you kind of might pause for a little bit. Like, what was I going to say? I was going to say, you better believe I'm going to step in and rescue you.
Yeah.
I got you. Oh yeah. Or maybe I'm listening to you and I'm like, oh yeah, you were talking about this. And then you're going to remember where you were.
That's great.
So that's why I'm relying on the other musicians to keep me, to if I get lost, so I trust them. They trust me.
Man.
So that's what I'm listening for. I'm listening for them dictating the melody, dictating the harmony, anything that's going to clue me in as to where the song is. And most people they play a song like that, they're going to play the harmony pretty close to the way that it's played.
Yeah.
So there's no real way to get lost unless you don't really know the song.
Sure.
That's awesome.
Or they're playing something that's so far outside the harmony, that which, believe me, can happen when you're playing with certain, people that I'm playing with might just be doing that. And that, that could certainly happen. That's why you have to really know the song. But if they do and they notice that I'm lost, they're gonna lay it down. And if I notice they're lost, I'm gonna lay it down for them too.
That's cool.
That's great. Thank you.
Funky Phil.
Yeah, I'm sure you get this a lot. But I'm curious about the melodic playing when you're actually playing like the head of a tune on the drums. Like, do you just have like fantastic ears, or
that was my question? Do you have perfect pitch, or do you like how?
I have what I would call very good relative pitch. So if I mean, I hear intervals very well. Both my parents have perfect pitch, so I kind of have some. But perfect pitch and relative pitch is better, is more important than perfect pitch. Relative pitch is it's not perfect, it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
But perfect pitch in itself isn't really that useful, musically speaking. It can be somewhat useful, but not as useful as probably people think it is. But yeah, relative pitch is more useful. So like, I would be able to tell you what any note is, but I would still have to relate that note to a note that I know, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's what I call very good relative pitch. Perfect pitch is when there are different kinds of perfect pitch too. Like sometimes like the really pure perfect pitch, you don't have to think about it at all. You just can name any somebody could play a cluster of 80 notes, and then you would just be able to say all of them. Anyway. So no, I don't have perfect pitch, but I have good relative pitch. I have good ear, and really grew up around classical music, about my parents playing music, and you know, that's a part of what I hear. So I attribute it to that. Yeah.
When I saw you at Smalls, I was sitting right next to the drums, and you're doing that in a solo. Is one of the best solos I've heard ever in my life, because you played the melody. You guys were playing a ballad. You played the melody of the ballad, and you had the pitch correct, but it was also in the key of the song. And then it was the touch and like the feel of the note was right too. It was like, it wasn't just like the right pitch, that it felt like the melody, like you were playing it on a piano or something, you know, and I just blew my mind. I was just blown away. It was amazing. Awesome.
I probably got a little lucky with that too. Because sometimes I'll do that and I won't really know, you know, like if I really know that I'm going to play a melody to a song, I'll tune the drums, you know, in a certain way to be able to fit that. But like for ballads, I really won't, because first of all, I probably, I don't really plan to play it. And also, since it's so slow, I have a lot more time to kind of like, you know, figure out what the best way to get certain pitches are. Yeah. But mostly I don't know how I'm going to play a melody in that case.
You know, it's amazing too, like that moment when you're doing that, the whole, I mean, Smalls is a really small place, you know, everybody's tightly close in there watching you. And, but at that moment you could hear a pin drop in there. It was silent and everybody was hanging on every note that you were playing. That was another thing where I was just like, it was so moving, like you could feel it, you know, it was just so great. And it's hard to capture that, especially in a solo. Everybody wants to go ham and show you their chops, and to play a melodic, you know, it was just incredible. I've never heard anything like that. It was so great.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Appreciate that.
Okay. So let's quickly rapid fire these listener questions, and then we'll let you get back to it. So, this one comes from, I don't even want to try to get these names. Let's just rapid fire these. Yeah, and this one's kind of weird. I don't know if English is this guy's first language, or maybe his autocorrect came into play here, but it says how to begin and domain irregular metric or groups. I don't know how to begin and maybe dominate irregular metric groups.
Yeah, you know, I get the idea. It's kind of fairly clear. I mean, you know, all that really comes down to is studying rhythm and understanding rhythm and how it works, and how it sounds. You know, rhythmic language. I have a method that I've been using for myself and also for teaching for probably been using it for about close to almost 20 years now. It's called rhythm training. Basically, it's a system that involves singing a melody and clapping various rhythms along with the melody.
Cool.
But you really have to, you know, understand where the rhythms fall within the melody, and you know, people are at different levels, but on a high level, it will do what this person is asking, which is about, you know, higher groupings and understanding what they're at a more basic level. It's going to be more about hearing the subdivision of the melody and just hearing the subdivision strongly and evenly and improving somebody's time. So it's good for all of those things, but it's rhythm training, not to be confused with the birth control method, because I wouldn't endorse that one.
It doesn't work.
But they can't be the only ones. They can't patent the name rhythm training. So rhythm training, it's my video. It's on My Music Masterclass. It's actually a three-part videos. And you know, I recommend, this is where I always start with any student I have. If you're ever thinking about, you know, like taking a lesson with me or anything like that, get this first, work through it, then come in with questions, because this is what I'm going to do with you anyway. First, it'll just save you time. Yeah. But that's the way that I do that. It's a very organic way, hearing the melody and understanding how the rhythms fit with the melody.
All right. Very cool. I just watched a video of you playing quintuplets with your left and kick, playing paradiddle rhythm, but playing 4 on your hands. Oh my God. And then you're like, all right, so have fun practicing that. And then you just click the video off. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, let me just get on that. Amazing. All right, this one's coming from AV Meta. Can you recommend some metronome exercises to improve time off the kit? That's kind of similar, but.
Yeah. So, man, I mean, I have all that stuff. Like I have probably about a good series of that on Patreon. A lot of people ask that question, actually. A lot of different exercises to, metronome exercises. But I think, in general, what I would just say here is, one thing is some people say you have to always practice with a metronome. Some people say, practice with I would just say practice with a metronome sometimes, not always. But when you do practice with a metronome, make sure that you're practicing time. Like that's the point of having a metronome. So don't practice like, being able to play do something with coordination or try to play like as fast as possible. Don't put a metronome on and practice that. Put them on a metronome only when you're specifically really listening to the metronome, as far as like most of your concentration is going toward where's the metronome and how am I in relation to where the metronome is? That's what you want to always be asking yourself. Of course, there's a lot of specific exercises that we can jump into, but I'm not gonna jump into all of those. If you want to see those, those are available. You can find them. But just know that the metronome is on for a reason. It should be your kind of the height of your focus is, the metronome. But again, you don't always want to practice with a metronome. Sometimes you might want to be working on something that you're not really ready to practice with a metronome yet because you don't have it down as much yet, and then in which case, just turn the metronome off. Don't have it on in the background. Yeah,
I like that. Benjamin Nicholson, how do I learn standards?
Oh, that's a good one. Actually, I just released it's an older video from Patreon, but I just released it on YouTube. It's just called How to Work with Songs. Go check it out. Exactly that, but the main thing that you want to do is really, understand the melody. Well, what does that mean? You want to hear, the songs. You want to understand what the songs are. How do you do that? Well, you want to find a few different versions of the song. You want to listen to them. You want to be able to sing them, right? You got to find the definitive version of the song. Well, what does that mean, the definitive version? Well, it could mean the version that was, recorded by the composer, or it could mean the version that made it famous. Which most likely is the definitive version is not necessarily, by the composer of the song. It's just the obvious, version that made the song famous. My Favorite Things, for example, John Coltrane did not write that song, but that's the reason that anybody would play that song today is probably because of what John Coltrane did with it. Then you want to understand the song rhythmically. So that means you have to understand the subdivision of the song. Is the subdivision of the song triplets? Is it eighth notes? Is it 16th notes? You need to be able to hear the subdivision within the song happening at the same time as the melody so that you can basically drop the melody into the subdivision to hear where it falls within the subdivision. That's how you can clearly understand what the melody is rhythmically. If you can't do that, you don't know the song. Mm. So like understanding what the song is to have clarity, because you want to be able to not just know the song, but you want to be able to improvise with the song. You want to be able to put things around the song to hear other people improvise with the song, but always be thinking in the song, right? And in order to do that, you really have to hear the subdivision going by and how the song relates with that.
That's awesome. That's really great. Okay, so we're up against it, but we have two more. One of them was kind of answered, but we'll ask it anyway. So first, this is Felix Lefort. It says, what is a professional drummer today? That's kind of a loaded question, I think, but
I would be able to answer that. A professional drummer today is somebody who makes money playing drums today.
That's what I think too. Yeah.
Just by definition. So yeah, I mean, it's obviously like pretty open-ended. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, I could put my stamp on it. Like a drummer should do this, a drummer should do that, but That's all my stuff. I mean, you can go look at, stuff that I think, but yeah, there's a lot of ways to be professional drummer today.
Right.
First, you have to be alive. That's definitely a requirement.
Yeah, that's a definite
that would turn
requirement.
into yesterday. And you can't be dead, and you also can't be not yet born.
Great answers.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people have a lot of different opinions on it, but like, dude, if I was a lawnmower guy, a guy that mows lawns, and I make money at it, and am I a professional lawnmower? Then yeah, I guess I am. So it's the same with playing drums. If you make money at it, then you're a professional drummer.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, last question. What is the most important thing when you are accompanying? He says accompany, but accompanying other musicians.
Yeah, I mean, so the obvious thing to say is listening, right? So like that's the obvious thing that's in probably 95% of your already in your heads, right? Oh, listening is important, but it's easy to say that, right? It's easy to say, oh, listen, yeah, just listen. But what does that mean? So like thinking about what listening means kind of goes back to the last thing we were talking about, which is knowing the song.
Yeah.
Listening really means, to understand what the context is that you're accompanying someone, right? Somebody's playing a song, somebody's improvising over a song maybe, or they're just playing a song, but you want to have that empathy, that understanding of what, the person is playing. Listening is everything, in this music. Listening is the absolutely most important thing that you can do. If I'm playing the piano and I have a choice whether to play with a drummer who has, lots of coordination and lots of chops and lots of rhythmic ability, or I could play with, somebody who's never played drums before but plays harmonica and knows the song that I'm playing, I'm going to choose the person who knows the song that I'm playing, because they're going to actually be able to play something that's relevant to what I'm playing. That's where it's all at, So accompanying is just being a good listener, and listening is not something I used to think, when people would say like, listen hard, or listen to what I'm playing, or, you have to be a good listener, all those things. I used to think that, that what that meant is that, somehow like, somebody that wasn't listening was ignorant of like, or just, didn't care, or just cared too much about themselves and not about the, but it's not that at all. In fact, it can't be farther from that. Listening is not something that, you do or don't do because you're ignorant. Listening is like, it's a skill that you need to learn just like any other skill. And so if you're good at it, you have that understanding and you're a good listener.
Yeah.
But you can't just all of a sudden like think to yourself, oh, I should be listening. And then you turn on something in your brain that makes you listen. I mean, that's being aware is certainly part of it, but there's actual language in there that you need to either understand or don't understand. And that takes skill to learn that language. So yeah, being a good listener, accompanying is listening. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a conversation between musicians, right? If you're the guy that does all, if you're the guy that does all the talking, but you don't ever listen to what somebody else has to say, it's not gonna be a good conversation.
Yeah, I would definitely, in an ideal world, accompanying is having a conversation. Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's very cool. So it sounds like all you guys listening, you need to go sign up for Ari's Patreon. And you can get a lot of this information from there, or watch some YouTube videos because it's all there.
Yeah, we got about 90 videos on Patreon now.
Wow.
And it's laid out in a cool way. I release 3 every month. And they're basically just like short, I would say anywhere between 5 and 15 minutes long. They're always just about one subject. So like, and I answer questions too, but it's just one subject. Sometimes it's about what I'm thinking about. Sometimes it's about, sometimes it could be, advanced level. Sometimes it could be intermediate level, even, not a lot of beginner stuff, but beginner, intermediate sometimes. But yeah, it's like, there's just a lot of stuff, a lot of material there. I'm real proud of what I put into it already. And, I'm definitely proud of the people, the members that I have, that are, keeping it going.
I think that's really great. And especially now at a time like this, it's awesome. So if people want to get if people want to get in touch with your Patreon or follow you or sign up to be a Patreon, how do they do that?
Well, I mean, I'm easy to contact. Ari Hoenig. I'm on Instagram, on Facebook. My website will point you to the right direction as well. But if you just want to do Patreon, it's patreon.com, Ari Hoenig.
Cool.
I guess it's like / just search for my name on Patreon.
That's easy enough.
Yeah. Ari, Hoenig. How do I spell my name again? Something like that.
Very cool. So if you guys want to do that, you'll get a lot of obviously really good information. You'll improve. You'll play exactly like Ari Hoenig, and and it'll be really great. Do you happen to know? This is a funny question, but do you know Jeff Endyke, being from New York?
I don't believe I'm not sure.
Okay. Have you heard the name?
I feel like I have. Yeah.
Okay. He's I don't know why we've taken a big liking to him, and he's just, his YouTube videos they look like they're fake comedy videos, and I don't mean any disrespect to him. He's a funny he's a drummer, he's a fellow drummer, and no judgment, but we've taken a big liking to him because he's so pure New Yorker, and like his videos are awesome. It's just funny. So just check it out. I had to ask you that, being that you're in New York as well. But yeah, anyways,
I will look it up. So it's funny, right?
Oh, it's hilarious. Pure New York, Coke bottle glasses, pure New York. And it's INDYKE, I think. INDYKE, yeah.
Oh, I got it. I'm always good for a good laugh, for sure.
Okay, yeah. Another drummer was like, "Have you seen this?" And I was like, "This is not real," but he's great. I hate saying it because it sounds like I'm being mean to him, and I don't mean disrespect, but like, it's great. It's great.
Nothing like comedy drum videos, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. So we're gonna wrap it there. We're gonna let you get back to your day, man. We cannot thank you enough for coming on with us and hanging out with us and giving us some of your time. We really appreciate it. And like I said before, if you guys want some information, want all that stuff, please go check out arihoenig.com, follow, join the Patreon, all that stuff. You won't be disappointed. All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right. We're going to have you on again sometime soon where we can spend more time.
Yeah,
so,
we'll do it.
Thank you so much.
All right. You got it.
Just goes to politics of life, and when I read your lips, you're only trying to find